Hey guys, I'm Riley. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm teaching you all about camera basics. That's aperture, shutter speed, ISO. Let's jump into it.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.
You liked that brand new intro, didn't you? First thing we need to talk about is aperture. Aperture deals with your lens right here, okay? First things first, you need to know about aperture. Aperture in the videography world has the name f-stops. You'll hear that a lot when you're researching or trying to dive into a more scientific explanation than I will be able to give you on aperture. Aperture is referred to as f-stops. The bigger the f-stop number, the smaller of a hole your lens makes for light to travel through your lens into your camera. Because of that, that allows your lens to determine the depth of field. My computer's ringing in the background. So if you have a super wide f-stop, which means you have this huge hole letting in a ton of light, you are going to have a very shallow depth of field. That means your foreground may be blurry, your subject's in focus, but the background is blurry also. Personally, that's my favorite way to shoot a photo, unless you're doing something like landscapes. You want everything to be in focus, so you need to do a smaller f-stop, which gives you all that detail, the super depth of field. Now, knowing your f-stops, if you master that, you move on next to your shutter speed, because they go hand in hand. If you have a very small f-stop, which gives you this huge opening, that's letting in too much light into your camera. You're gonna be overexposed, everything's gonna be blurry and white, and it's just not gonna look good. So what you need to do is you need to bump up your shutter speed to be super fast. So it's the number when you're on your camera trying to go through the settings, you'll have the numbers that are like 4.5 decimals and stuff like that. That's your aperture. It was really confusing to me at first because like I'm not a professional and I'm still learning just like many of you are. So I'm just helping you out figure out stuff that I figured out not too long ago. Your f-stops are gonna be the decimal numbers like 4.5, 2.5, stuff like that, which will determine how fast your lens is. But the fraction numbers, so like 1/1500, that would be your shutter speed. So if you get a fast shutter speed and a super wide low f-stop number, which gives you the super wide aperture, then your photos are gonna turn out looking a lot like this photo. Personally, it's one of my favorite photos ever taken. I didn't even take the photo, my friend Kyle did, so shout out to you, Kyle, respect, awesome photography skills. Shutter speed does not just compensate for letting in a lot of light to stop as much light getting to your sensor. It also controls the blurriness of your subject. So let's say you're wanting to do some wildlife photography, or you're at a sporting event and you want to capture like an interception mid-air or something. That's a football term, America. You're gonna need a crazy fast, not too crazy, but you're gonna need a fast shutter speed, because me doing this on a low shutter speed would be blurry. Here's a couple photo examples to kind of put them side by side. I'll use a waterfall so you can see an obvious difference. An obvious, you know, just check the photos out. So with this photo right here, I have bumped up the shutter speed to be crazy fast. Therefore, I capture the little droplets and everything. You can see all the detail of the water as it pours over the rock. Now, if I do a slow shutter speed, I let in a lot more light and it's just moving way slower. Then that'll give me this effect right here. It looks like the spaghetti angel hair noodles waterfall. It's kind of blurry. Some people like that for taking pictures of waterfalls. I really don't care for it. I like the little tiny droplets caught midair. That just looks way better to me. Just my personal preference, you know, you can do whatever you want. Then once you master aperture and shutter speed and know that they go hand in hand, you'll do basically kind of opposite. If you have a low f-stop, then you're gonna need a high shutter speed, or vice versa. High f-stop, low shutter speed. That's generally how it goes. But you know, depending on the situation and the type of photo that you're wanting to take, you can break those laws. Do it. Once you get those two down, then you finally touch your ISO. Do not touch your ISO till you have adjusted your aperture and your shutter speed. ISO is the last thing that you want to do because it has the potential to ruin your photo and make it very grainy, like there's just digital rice all in your photo, just everywhere. All of it is bad. So depending, if you are in a low light situation, you've got your aperture where you want it, you got your shutter speed where you want it, it's perfect, it's just your image is super dark and you can't really see anything. That's where you're gonna touch your ISO. ISO, simple version, is basically artificial light. It's light that your camera makes up. It just brightens up the image, which is why every time you go up in ISO, your image quality is gonna get worse and worse and worse. But don't be afraid to go up on your ISO. Just, it depends on the situation that you're in. Low light needs a higher ISO to brighten the image so you can see it. Knowing all of that, I took a trip to the mountains with a couple of good friends of mine. We took some photos in the mountains and ended up getting some of the most cool looking photos I have taken yet, and photography is fairly new to me. I've been more into videography for several years now, and I'm still learning, so not a professional. These are just things that I have learned to help people who are also learning several years ago like I was. But we took several photos, so I'm going to show you the photos and what the settings were for these photos on my camera, so you can kind of get an idea of how I got those photos. And are these settings that I recommend you get on for specific areas? No, because again, I'm still learning. Basically, just need to play around with your aperture, your shutter speed, and your ISO till you get it down and you're able to look at an image and know where you messed up, what you need to fix, or if the image was perfect, you got it spot on. But still, you can never take enough photos or video. Anyways, that'll do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching my videos, or video if this is your first video you've ever watched of me. Please leave a comment if you want me to dive more into camera basics, if this is something that you're into, photography, videography, just like I am. Then I'm gonna start making some more stuff about things that I've learned and am learning, and I'll share that with you guys. Let me know what other videos I should do next for camera basics, or you know, product photography, or any videography videos, videography basics, stuff along those lines. We'll dive into that. I will see you guys on the next video. Stay safe. Also, by the way, before you leave, that's where I've been for 6 months. I totally got married. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.